and welcome to Full Circle Angling. I'm your host David. We're going to be here to make a video today.
Sounds like the intro was done.
Hello, morning, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to somewhere a little bit further away from home. I've got a special guest who you might recognise. On a little bit of an adventure, come to try and get away of the woes of March in the northeast, really.
Absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking.
So target today is ideally a ray, but to start with, I think we'll settle with anything, even if it's a doggy or a dab or whatever.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we've got the first baits in the water. What have you gone rigging bait wise?
I've got a dongle pulley with a 3/0 circle hook, and I'm rocking squid and frozen crab, Blythe crab.
Blythe crab, well,
Makes a difference.
if they don't take that, they'll not take anything. I've gone just for a little bit of bluey on a pulley pennel. And then the next rig I've got a bit of herring and a bit of squid. So I think between we're more or less covering all bases. It's 10:15. I think the low water was about 8.
8:15.
Yeah, so high water is about 2:15. So basically we've got all of the flood. So the tide's going to be pulling from right to left. And to be fair, even since we got here, it has started to pick up quite a bit, hasn't it?
It's hooning in, yeah.
Aye.
Big
And
springs.
Yeah, so touch wood, I don't want to jinx it, but we haven't experienced any weed yet, so hopefully it'll be fairly plain sailing. And yeah, we'll just get fishing and hopefully we can come back here with a fish. Tricky this, isn't it, in terms of casting? Got me little rather wet baiting up corner here. So all I'm doing, I tend not to use kind of baiting tools that often, but I'm going to use one today. So what I'm doing, you see that's a nice streamlined bit of herring. The beauty about using just a straight bar, of course. I can just hook that into there. Just keep that nice and streamlined. Plenty of elastic around the eye. And I'm putting the hook into the actual meat of the bait and using the skin as a bit of a sort of protector, just so, because the skin's on the outside, it means the bait will just ooze out a little bit slowly. And because the hook's next to the softer flesh, it'll just bury into the bait a bit more. So that's a very small streamlined bait, and then all I'm doing is getting a small bit of squid, just wrapping that around some of the flesh bit. And I can tell you, you're lucky you're not sat here because that is stinging. Buying that up. Oops. Don't wrap your elastic around there. Pull that out. I haven't had any signs of being snagged or anything yet, which is good. So I think we're just casting onto clean ground, probably a combination of sand and a bit of mud. Top pennel 2, 3. And I'm pulling the hook out of the flesh and the squid just to give it a bit more grip. Pull that tight. Now we'll go clip that onto the pulley, and that's a fairly long pulley. That's probably knocking on, I don't know, 4.5 feet. So we'll get that one into the tide in the next 10 minutes or so, hopefully pull out a fish. first cast. Something's had a wrestle with it, hasn't it? But
It's bit the head off the squid by the looks of it.
yeah. Oh well, hopefully there's something out there. It is nice to fish a new mark. What we're going for here?
Crab and squid again.
Yeah, that looks pretty tasty, that, to be fair.
Ah dear.
Right, so been fishing about, what, probably about an hour or something now. Got a couple of casts each. My first bluey bait came back stripped. Something that had a little go at your bait as well, hadn't it?
Taking the head off me squid.
Aye, so yeah, on the second cast, in terms of your gear, what have you gone for today?
I've got a Sentry Eliminator T700, which is 15 foot and rated up to 175 grams casting. It's got a glass tip. I chose this rod today because it's quite soft in the tip, so it works in the tide. Because I've got braid on and not mono.
Yeah.
For braid, I've got my usual cod braid, which is 79 pounds straight through without a shock leader, which is Daiwa J braid, and my reel is a Penn Battle 3 8000 LC, and the LC is long cast, which means it's got a shallower spool for designed for braid. I need all the help I can get the cast, so yeah, it does us all right.
Yeah. So, because I think from your videos of, is it a 14-foot GBFS Pro?
Yeah.
That you usually use. So
yeah. So
how are you getting on with the longer rod and the glass tip?
It's taken us a little while to get used to it. It's a lot softer. I mean, the GBFS Pro it's from Any Fish Anywhere. That had great bite detection for a carbon tip, and it was much better than the Ron Thompson accelerator that I used to use before that.
Powerhouse that.
Yeah, I could pull the plug out of the sea. But this one, it's taken a little while to get used to the casting, but I'm not a great caster, so I think with the glass tip, it kind of you lose a little bit of sensitivity during the cast compared to a carbon tip.
Yeah, it's soft, got a lot of cushion in it.
Yeah, but in terms of difference, I really like the longer rod. This one's much lighter, which is great when you're holding it in the wind, in a good proper northeasterly blow. And the extra length kind of helps a little bit with my distance as well.
Yeah. I mean, I held it before, and I mean the rod I use is quite light, and actually the butt of it looks like it's hovering in the air.
It is.
So I'll be right back. Look at that. How's that for acrobatic fishing? Right, so where were we before my rod decided to start going for a swim on its own?
Going through the virtues of a Sentry over the GBFS Pro.
Yeah. I think I was saying I had a couple of casts with it before, and I mean, I'm using the HST Evo, and Ziplexes are pretty light, and that, even though it's probably 14 inches longer, it's in a different league weight-wise. It's unbelievably light. You'd never think that you had a 15-foot powerful rod in your hand. I mean, it weighs the same as like an old 11-foot lure rod I used when I was about 10. So it's it's a nice bit of kit, and it's got, for such a thin blank with a glass tip, it is actually quite deceptively powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. I've used it on rough ground with a cod, and not massive fish, but it certainly helps pull. It's got absolutely no problem pulling any fish through the kelp and all the rock ledges and things.
Yeah, it's good all rounder than by the sounds of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, let's hope we can get a bend in it today and pull something in. Fingers crossed. Right, well, the second bait's been in the water for, well, probably a lot longer than what I'd planned on it being in. A lot of pull out there. Oh, it's absolutely boiling now. There's not a breath of wind, the sun's come out. The forecast was for about, I think the forecast was what, about 8-9 degrees? And it's got to be, I mean, I would say now it's got to be 13, 14. It's, well, maybe I'm being optimistic, but it's bloody hot. viewer picked something up. That's the culprit there. Didn't give us much of a bite. So gear wise today I've opted for faithful HST Evo. That's paired with a Fathom 12 mag. That's loaded with 20-pound trilene, 80-pound leader, and I've attached that via a bimini because it's smooth ground on here, so it will have a bit of stretch if there's the odd little bit of mud. If I was fishing over rough ground I might use a spider hitch, and then if it does get snagged, it's the spider hitch that goes, because with a bimini, because it's still such a strong knot and it's got a lot of stretch, if you've got a little chink in your line it can sometimes snap your main line, but because it's clean it's alright. So next rig, same bait, bit of herring, bit of squid, fire it out and hopefully you can get something. What we're going for now?
Going for sand eel and squid.
Is that on the dongle again? Or?
On the dongle, I haven't got another rig tied. Oh, I'm getting videoed. I haven't got another rig tied.
Well, hopefully we can fire it out and get a fish, because it's been, I think, a little bit quiet, it's fair to say, so far, isn't it?
That's the polite way of putting it, that's for sure.
Might have just had a bite here. These rods are under so much tension from the tide, but Nathan just brought to my attention that I might have had a knot there, so fingers crossed. Fishing with mono, unless it's a really powerful bite, because there's so much tension on the rod tip and the stretch in the mono, one of the telltale bites is just a bit of a bounce back. It is boiling. Tide's pushed up, it's probably risen about 2 meters already. So we're just up on this high platform now, so this should probably be us for the rest of the day. So hopefully the second half of the flood brings with it a bit more action, because it's got to be said it's been pretty quiet so far. But the new mark, never fished yet, it's great to get out. Just need a fish. Right. Jettison some layers here, because as I keep saying, it is warm, or warm to anybody that isn't from the northeast. So I'm sticking with the herring because I've just got a little bit of a punch on for it today, so I'm going to keep going with it. Don't know why, because I haven't caught anything on it and it absolutely stinks. But if you're a ray, that's what you kind of look for when you go out on a Friday night. So, same procedure, I'm using a slightly bigger bit this time. I'm just burying the hook right in the flesh, getting that bound up nice and tight all the way up. And if you're wondering why, if I'm so hot I've still got a hat on, it's because unfortunately when you get a bit older, hair disappears on certain parts of you and reappears in other parts. And unfortunately, the area it's disappeared on me, it means I get very burnt very easily. So that's staying on. Now we're just wrapping that bit of herring in a a bit of squid. And what I've done, I don't know if you can see, that was the head bit, so I've just cut the point of the head off just where the blood and the gills start, just to give it a bit more scent. And because there's a little bit of cartilage and stuff there, it is quite firm, so if a doggy or something does start having to wrestle with it, it'll give it a little bit more life. Keep plenty of elastic on that. Pull, snap that off. That just comes out like that. And this bit, 1, 2, 3, again out through the squid where it's a little bit tougher. Pull that tight. Squid and herring, 6O on the bottom, 4O on the top. Cast number 3 or 4 I think. Tides, probably got a couple hours left. Got a good depth of water in front of her now. Probably only had, I don't know, a metre or 2 initially, but it'll be a bit deeper now. There's loads of colour in it, the visibility's next to nothing, so hopefully that'll help for the rays or anything else that comes in. But keep going, we'll get this one out. Now when I'm getting near the yard, some corners out the back. Well, we are 3 hours-ish into the session, and it's been...
I'm laughing because it feels like longer.
It's been pretty slow, to say the least. Nathan's had a couple of bites. My baits have come back in better condition than what they went out in. That's about all I can say, really. Other than that, it's an absolutely cracking spring day, and I don't think any of us are expecting to be sat here in t-shirts for a lot of it, so definitely a glass half full there, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Still time yet as well?
Yeah, exactly. We've got a bit, probably another hour of the flood.
Yeah.
Aye, so we'll keep going, we'll fish into the ebb a little bit, and hopefully we can save a blank, because it's looking like it might be blankety blank tonight. Still a black. So we'll keep trying. Right. Another cast, I've got a bluey and squid wrap on that. For what it's worth, send it back out. Not looking too hopeful, but keep going, see if we can get anything. Right, I've absolutely nothing on the bluey, herring, squid, bluey and squid, herring and squid. So Nathan's had a couple of knocks when he's had crab baits on, so it would be somewhat foolish not to give crab a go. So I've got a decent sized peeler here, and it's starting to defrost a little bit, but it's fine. I'm just going to put that through there. Oh, I think that fish is still going. He's been getting a few bites there. I'm just going to quickly bind this on. During the winter, about 2 months ago, when it was freezing, the freezer went off, and I don't know if it was just a mechanical malfunction because it was freezing cold, or whether it was a ambient temperature feature where it thinks, right, it's cold enough outside, I don't need to be on anymore. The problem is that half my bait, crab, carp, wings, just defrosted and then sort of refroze. So I can tell that this crab was one of them because it's just got that kind of not particularly good crab smell about it. Anybody that's used crab before when it's not prime will know what I mean, so I'm not be lying if I said I was feeling really confident about it, but you just never know. So we'll get that out and just see if anything's out there, because one thing's for sure, it can't physically be possible for it to be any worse than what I've put out there. So let's get it out and see what we can do. Did it like kick back or just?
It just went boing straight round with that sound effect.
Well, it's looking like that's the end of the session. It's 2:30. The ebb's been in full flow for quite a while actually now.
About an hour, I'd say.
Yeah. And the science and philosophy and hope of pushing the scent further out into the sea unfortunately hasn't paid off, but you've got to be optimistic, haven't you? So it's been a pleasant day.
I'm not complaining.
We haven't got anywhere near as wet as what the forecast seemed to suggest.
Yeah.
So that's good. Well, yeah, yeah.
Given
I'm looking
what's
over there.
over there.
I'm looking over there as I'm saying that, thinking I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, we've tried everything: squid, herring, crab, bluey,
Sand eel,
dongles, up and overs, pulleys.
yeah.
And yeah, it just hasn't worked, but it is March, so you can't ask for much really. So anyway, it's been good to fish with Nathan, and yeah, we'll just have to try and get out and actually catch some fish next time, I think.
I think so.
So as always, thanks for watching. Tight lines, keep fishing. We'll see you on the next one.
See you later, everybody. Thanks very much for asking us on your channel as well.
Oh, no.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Toodles.